To Ethiopia now, where there are hopes of peace at last. After 2 years of a bitter war, the government and Tigrayan forces recently agreed to stop fighting. But that was after tens of thousands of people had been killed and millions more displaced in one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The truce has now reopened the Tigray region, and passenger flights have just resumed, allowing many people from the region to reunite with their loved ones.
An emotional moment as the first flights arrived back in Mekelle. The civil war left Tigray largely cut off from the rest of the world. Finally, families are being reunited.
We were separated from our families and did not see them for 2 years. But now we are very happy to have this opportunity. I flew in from Addis and my sister came from London to reunite with
my sisters, my family.
As the guns have fallen silent, the region has partly opened up. Much needed aid is flowing back in, and some phone and internet connections have been restored. The conflict has caused immense harm, not only to the people. Hospitals have been damaged and destroyed, water, electricity and medicines are in short supply.
There's nowhere we haven't gone to hide with our children, without a mattress, a cup of water to drink, anything to cook with. Just us trying to save our lives. The elderly, mothers with children, and many others have been through tremendous difficulties. Many have died.
Ethiopia was ruled for 3 decades by Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF. But when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power, he formed a coalition that left out TPLF members. Their resentment turned to revolt, and then full-blown conflict. The war has created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, and now hundreds of thousands are on the brink of famine.
Children under 5 years are malnourished. We can't save some of these children just with medicine. They need food. And we haven't received food yet. We give the children medicine now and they come back the second day in a worse condition.
While many here still need urgent help, their fate will depend on the warring parties sticking to a fragile truce.
Joining the program now is Adem Abebe, Senior Advisor in Peace and Constitution Building at the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance in The Hague. Adem, hi, welcome to DW News Africa. It appears as if the guns have been silenced in Tigray. From your point of view, is the war over?
Thank you for having me. So the war is not over. I think the country remains in the woods. At the same time, there has been significant progress, and I think any fears that the peace deal might collapse immediately should subside by now. The region has been reconnected largely. Humanitarian, the situation has improved, and even commercial flights have started in some areas of Tigray. But there's still a lot of challenges that remain, including the issue of Eritrean withdrawal, and of course the resolution of identity land issues between Tigray and Amhara regions. And so, yes, there is progress, and I think the peace is likely to hold, but there's still a lot of milestones to be achieved.
What would be some of those key signs that indicate that this peace is genuine and sustainable?
I think for it to hold, first, the interim government in Tigray has to be established. And for that to happen, the federal government has to lift the designation of the TPLF, the ruling party in Tigray, as a terrorist organization. And for that to happen, they have to find agreement, some resolution to the land dispute between Amhara and Tigray. And so, as I said, there is a good start. I think there is a lot of confidence-building measures that have been taken so far. But what is coming definitely is more challenging politically, but also in terms of the resources needs.
Now, we know there were a lot of atrocities reported that happened in Tigray as the fighting went on. We'll probably be hearing more about these stories as more people get together, as families are reunited. Could some of these revelations threaten the peace?
Well, indeed, it has been a very, very atrocious war indeed. All sides have been implicated in violations. And as the region is reconnected now, we'll hear more stories. And part of the deal in the agreement is that there will be an accountability mechanism, a transitional justice mechanism. And those institutions, those processes would have to hear the voices that are coming out of Tigray now and consider them and find the appropriate solutions in terms of going forward. And so, yes, there are atrocities. I don't think they will derail the process, but they will provide important resources for the transitional justice mechanism that the peace deal anticipates.
How can the leaders who signed the ceasefire bring the whole nation on board to prevent people from harboring ethnic resentments?
Well, I think the question of ethnicity as a driving force of conflict, of politics, and all of that is a major issue that affects not just the northern part of the country, not just Tigray and Amhara, but the broader nation at large. There is there's a planned national dialogue process that will be central to addressing these broader issues. The peace deal focused itself mainly on finding a solution to the conflict in the north, but there are broader issues that the national dialogue process would have to achieve. Essentially, the peace process itself is a difficult one, but once we tick that box, we also have to find a solution to the broader issues that will involve the entire country. And so in that process, there will be a role for all groups, including the Tigrayans and the federal government.
Okay, Adam Abebe, thank you very much for speaking to us.